There's been a lot of players that have transferred back and forth between LA Galaxy and LAFC, but this brings about a broader question, especially with the Mark Delgado situation. How do you feel about players playing for both rival clubs?
I guess the only way I can answer this is that it depends on the clubs. It depends on the rivalry a little bit.
Give me an idea of what you mean. You mean like if the rivalry's hot?
Yeah, if it's way too contentious. And this is, and I let the fans decide, right? If the fans are just like, no, I could never support a player from that team playing for mine. Then, I mean, and obviously the first ones that come up are like the European ones and Arsenal, Tottenham, right? Like there's just
when Sol Campbell moved, it was like, security was needed.
Yeah.
To this day, it's still contentious,
right? And I literally just saw like a clip he did with Robbie Lyle, and he was saying that basically the reason he did it was like, I was young and I wanted to win.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, like, I don't know if that'll help at all with
that
anybody.
One also got even harder because not only did he win with Arsenal, but he won it at White Hart Lane,
exactly.
which is,
But we were talking about this in our production meeting, but like, Seattle,
Portland. How surprised people are that we do production meetings and things like that.
But Seattle, Portland, I can't. Please correct me. I can't remember. I don't know of any player that's played on both teams.
Right.
I could be wrong, but if somebody in the
we
comments,
asked ChatGPT and they said Sol Campbell played for both, which we know is wrong.
That's why you love AI.
Yeah,
do great work.
The intelligence part of it is not just there yet, but it is artificial. So is the facts.
So, but yes, this situation with Mark Delgado, and we'll talk. LA Galaxy, LAFC. I've already had several players transfer.
It doesn't seem like the fans care that much. So why do you?
So I think it's because so some people do care and some people don't, right? So we saw in the MLS wrap up, Sasha Kleshin, what we were talking about the Mark Delgado situation. He said like that it was a nice gesture from LA Galaxy to give him the ring. So just in case,
what's the context behind
if
it?
people that are not aware, Mark Delgado won MLS Cup with LA Galaxy last season. Then obviously because of salary cap rules, and they couldn't keep him, and he ends up getting traded to LAFC. So they do a presentation of the ring.
He deserves to get his ring.
100%. And they, I believe they did this on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So he goes to the stadium. Everybody, like a lot of the staff that he worked with are there. Greg Vanny gives him his ring. Will Kuntz as well. The homie Will Kuntz, who just did the show. And Mark Delgado gets emotional. LA Galaxy, they post this on social media and this whole thing. And then after El Tráfico, Marky says that he did not know that was going to happen. I think he maybe thought like usually in this scenario at the beginning of games is when they give the ring. If you played for the other team, they did this. I think they did this with Julian Gressel when he went from when Miami played Columbus. And he won his ring, so they gave it.
Here, can I say the benefit of doing it that way is even though it's emotionally getting the ring, and I'm sure you're gonna get emotional yourself. Maybe you'll tear up. Maybe you'll hug some of the former coaches or players or staff or whatever. At least you're wearing the kit of the current team. So where your heart lies can't be questioned. Where your loyalty is can't really be questioned. You deserve the ring and you deserve to have an emotional moment and you deserve to have that moment for yourself. However, you shake hands or you cry, whatever it is. Yeah. You deserve that. If you want to hug the people, you worked really hard. For some people play their whole careers and never get that chance.
Yeah, that was it was his second. Yeah. So, and he's worked with Greg Vanny for forever. Yeah. They won together in Toronto. They went to multiple MLS Cup finals, won Canadian championships, the whole thing. Sure. So you understand the emotion behind it, but
you also don't know what it took for that player to get to that point that season. Maybe they had family issues. Maybe they had personal issues. Maybe they had injuries. I will never tell someone whether they overreacted or did too much. I don't care. But at least when you're wearing the kit of the club I support, it lessens the blow a little bit.
Right. So
for them to do this at LA Galaxy Stadium as well.
Yes. And based on the post-game press conference with I still call him Marky Delgado. I feel weird saying
he's
Mark
getting
Delgado.
older.
He's getting older, but whatever. I don't know if he's like bothered by the Marky, but that's what he was called in Toronto. Yeah. Anyway, Delgado said that he did not know that was going to happen. So there's a little bit of like I guess they were trying to make like a nice moment, like maybe a viral moment of like, oh, he got emotional and the whole thing.
Or was this part of the mental game?
Get in there.
El tráfico.
This is the one thing.
Because if it was me, would you not think that's why I was doing it?
There's a little bit of like, there's some gamesmanship. There's like some gamesmanship, but there's a little bit of, Greg Vanney also got his new contract. There's a lot of, obviously, LA Galaxy still have not won a game. Part of me was just like, this is a good move to, take away attention from what's going on.
It's chess, not checkers, bro.
So
this is smart. You put this out. Now you get LAFC fans like upset at their own player. Yo, what are you doing? Blah, blah. Hey, the focus ain't on me right now, right? There's no chance.
Hey, look at what they're doing.
I was messed up. Hey,
that's
bro.
An LAFC player. How could he do that?
I wouldn't have done that, even though we invited him and set the whole thing up. I would have never done that.
I mean, maybe he's crying because he loves us. I don't know why. Maybe he doesn't love you as much as you thought.
I've never seen him cry when he goes into your stadium. I'm just saying he cried when he came in ours. I mean,
so that's just look. We saw Bradley Wright Phillips. Like Sasha Clutchman was like, "It's a nice gesture." Bradley Wright Phillips said, "I despise this."
Yeah,
and the timing of it.
And Dax rode the fence.
No. Dax basically agreed with BWP and said, like,
he said
the timing was the worst issue. Yeah. Like to do this before you're playing against your biggest rival in El Tráfico. That was the point where you're just like, now it's like it gets to a little bit of an unserious territory. And but the issue I have is with Marky Delgado kind of saying after the game, like, oh, I didn't know that this was going to happen. So he said this wasn't in my control. That part of it is like, now there's a little bit of blowback there because that's not a great look for the Galaxy. They shot their shot, and I think they tried to make a genuinely nice moment, but we go back to players, playing for two rival clubs, like playing for both. This is I brought this up to Will Kuntz on the show. I'm like, why do you do this? There's so many, and I got you were making fun of me because I was looking up all the names, but apparently I think it's only been 5. I thought it was more. Marky Delgado, Christian Ramirez, Raheem Edwards, John McCarthy, and who can forget Nico Hamalainen, the from Finland.
And now we're all better off for having been read that list.
But if you do this,
by the way, our show was delayed 30 minutes because he really needed to get this list.
It was like 3. Anyway.
Sure.
If you do this consistently, you're going to run into these problems because you have to, the fan bases.
But then what are you saying? That you can't do this?
Not that you can. You obviously can. I'm just saying this is the consequence.
Are you saying you shouldn't do this?
I'm saying you shouldn't do this. That's my general thought. But you
don't think that LA Galaxy can find value in a player in LAFC that is being sent away? You think they should not because they're coming from LAFC or vice versa?
Correct. Maybe it's nonsensical.
What's the reason why? Give me a short
the fan bases you'll lead to problems like this and fans,
problems like what?
Some fans hate it. Some fans hate it, so you shouldn't do it. Correct. If I was building a club, that's what I would do. But I can understand why other clubs do it. Toronto and Montreal have had several players to play on both of the teams. Hudson River Derby.
That's also a big rivalry.
It is. So if fans are okay with it and whatever, and it's not a huge issue, then whatever. But this is an issue. Right? Some fans are upset with this. LAFC fans do not.
So you're suggesting don't do something because sub fans might be upset by it?
Yes.
You don't think that's a little bit ridiculous? Your job as a club is to not worry about some fans being upset. Your job is to get the best players possible. And the caveat to MLS is you have to fit it under the cap and it has to fit with all the other structures. And sometimes that player may have been wearing the other shirt. Also, it's a single entity. It feels a little silly. I get that some fans might be upset, but you almost have to push that aside and say, I have to do what's right for the club. If Marky Delgado or Mark Delgado brings a championship to LAFC this season, no fan will care what shirt he was wearing the season before.
Totally valid. I'm not poo-pooing that. Oh, I am poo-pooing it.
You're poo-pooing it quite a bit.
Poo. I'm saying I would not do it. Some clubs do it. Some clubs do not. And as far as pissing off some fans, that is something to consider. They are.
Let me give you a scenario.
with them.
I'm going to give you a scenario. New York City FC acquired John Tolkien in a trade with New York Red Bulls. New York City FC go on to win the championship. John Tolkien scores the game winner in MLS Cup final.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the pitch. Do you hug John Tolkien?
I mean, that would probably be the only time I hug John Tolkien.
I'd hug him and spin him around.
That would be.
I don't love all of his social media likes,
it's
but
it's not about bitterness.
I'm just grabbing one player, regardless of what's going on in there. Yeah,
it's not about bitterness about like a player can't do. I understand the philosophy around it. I wouldn't do it. I understand if a club would, but
I think it's ridiculous and short-sighted. I see why.
Yeah.
But it's so short-sighted.
This is like if
business is business,
if
bro.
Arsenal signed a Tottenham player, this is that you cool? You don't care at all.
If Heung-min Son if Harry Kane puts on an Arsenal jersey and Arsenal win, hey, Harry Kane's my boy.
What a great example. So you're using one of the most generational players.
Yeah. Pick another one.
What?
Pedro Porro, okay?
Really?
Puts on an Arsenal shirt. And because of him, or with him, his addition, Arsenal wins a title. Yeah, I've forgiven the fact that you've played for Tottenham.
But, okay.
Hold on.
But
Harry
the signing
Kane came from Arsenal.
You're not forgiving.
Hold on. Do Tottenham fans hate Harry Kane? He was literally there as a child wearing an Arsenal shirt.
It's very different.
He was part of the academy.
Very different.
He was part of the academy.
Yeah, it's not as big a deal. That's not as big a deal. They're children. They end up wherever they end up. Nobody's going to be like,
he was part of the academy.
You played in the U8s. I can't trust you wearing this crest.
You got a microphone.
He was like 9 years old when he left Arsenal.
That
doesn't matter at all.
They're only saying that because he was the best player.
It doesn't matter at all.
Man.
Like literally, Arsenal let him go. That doesn't matter.
If they signed Pedro Porro, you would be upset that they signed him.
No, I wouldn't.
And then if they won, then you would be like, okay, all is forgiven. But the signing is the issue, not the success. Of course, they're gonna bring some success.
You don't sign someone. When they signed Sol Campbell, I was like, how dare you? Know what I mean? I'm like, all right.
You were 12. What are you talking?
But still,
what the hell?
Good defensive player. Oh, he just said it doesn't matter. What I'm simply saying is bringing in a player from the other team, while generally not the smartest move because some fans are toxic, and we're learning Christian is one of them. I think it's fine. I think it's perfectly fine because if you can find value. Now, if that person comes in and underperforms, they have a big asterisk on them already. So it's going to get even worse. You already know what the jeers are going to be. Oh, this is a mercenary. This is a merchant from the other side. I'm fine with it. I'm perfectly fine. I would love to hear what the fans think because I can't even put myself in the realm of what you're thinking right now.
No, look, if a Rebel player played for NYCFC,
Mehdi Bellucci.
Of course, yes. In the inaugural season, when they were needed to just fill the roster, you understand that's a possibility. Okay,
and he's not only beloved; he's still up with the club.
Fine, yeah. It's obviously it's not the exact same scenario. If BWP played for NYCFC, how does he speak about NYCFC? He still sees them as a rival. Always wanted to beat them.
If he played for New York City, which I don't think you would ever approve it, but if he did. He wouldn't in every post-game conference go, I hate wearing this shirt. I'm Rebel for life.
No, man,
no he loved the team. He's part of the team.
No, there's some clubs do it, some do not. I, as an NYCFC fan, do not want NYCFC to sign Rebel players, especially if they came directly from Red Bull. If they went through 4 or 5 other clubs, maybe I could like find some way to be okay with it, but even that would be really difficult.
First of all, MLS has rules where that this is not only going to happen, it's going to happen a lot.
Sure. So again, some clubs they can acquiesce and do what they got to do to have a functioning roster and to be under the cap. And some clubs are like, even if that player will help me resolve my roster issue, I am not signing him. And some clubs do that and some do not. And you pick the lane you want to find success for your club. I don't think it's a thing where I don't think it's a negative thing for clubs to be that petty with their rivalries, and I think it helps build those rivalries and stuff like that. Just this, I just don't love that there's been so many players, and in the
single entity, man.
And LAFC's short history, they've had players play for both teams way too many times.
AC Milan and Inter Milan, Will Coots brought it up.
Yeah.
It's happened a lot. Obviously, it's not the most common thing in the world, but it's happened quite a bit. Even Boca and River have had players play for each other, and you would assume that's one of the most contentious rivalries in the world. You would assume that wouldn't happen.
Well, wait. Who's played for both?
Couple players.
Well, what a mistake.
Well, hey, they went on to have good careers. At the end of the day, I'm simply saying I understand your point. But if you're a GM, your job is to get the best potential, or the sporting director, your job is to fill the roster with the best possible players, regardless of what little logo they wore on their shirt the year before. That's it.
All right.
In fact, obviously, we have a lot of fans that are fans of clubs all over the world. Let us know in the comments, would you be okay with a rival player? First of all, who's your favorite club? And what rival player would you be okay with being on your team? In fact, pick a player from your rivalry, from your rival club that you want on your team.